Yo, what's up, guys? Old School Dan here, and here's a question I get a lot. People always ask me, how do I get wide lats? Now, this took me a while to actually do because I had an issue with this, and it was this I had to do this one slight change in exercises, and it changed everything for me. All of a sudden, my back blew up, and it just got super wide. I got like a super V taper. But let me give you the video breakdown real quick. Right now, we're going to talk about exactly why you're having trouble achieving that wide V taper back, that old school back. Then I'm going to break down 3 methods I've used to get my wide back. We're going to go in order, starting with the Arnold, then the Frank Zane method, then we're going to end off with the Steve Reeves method. So let's get started. Alright, so here are some reasons why you're having trouble getting that wide V taper back that everybody wants. That old school back that just everybody had that back then. Everybody had wide lats. If they didn't have thick lats, they sure as did have wide lats. Cool. So reason number one, you lack mind to muscle connection. You don't know how to contract your back. You don't know how to stretch your lats and then bring down your elbows and just hold that contraction at the bottom and just contract those lats. If you don't know how to contract your, if you're having, I'm sorry, if you're having an issue contracting your back, check out my other video on mind to muscle connection. That's a really good one. It's got a lot of likes on it. All right, so next up is neglecting the priority principle. Are you doing with, are you doing exercises for width first instead of for thickness? Vertical versus horizontal. So this is something I did back then. I was prioritizing. I thought in order to get a wide back, you had to do lots of rowing and lots of like thickness exercises to get a wide back. And it took a while for me to realize that wasn't it. It took a long time. It took like about a year to figure it out, to finally figure it out. So yeah, my issue was I was doing more rowing exercises instead of pull-ups. And the minute I switched it, my back just got super wide, and I got a crazy looking Christmas tree now. So yeah, you're neglecting the priority principle. Are you prioritizing your width versus the thickness of your back? You should be prioritizing your width over thickness. Cool. So let's move on to the last one. You don't know how to pull with the elbows. This is so important. You have to learn to pull with the elbows, or you're gonna have a really tough time developing your back. You gotta think of your arms like hooks, that your forearms do not exist. Your hands are, metaphorically speaking, your hands are just hooks, and your elbows have a string that is you're yanking up to the sky. The farther your elbows can travel back, the more you're going to be able to contract your back. Cool. So now let's talk about the easiest way to get a wide back without all the other methods. All right, so here's the easiest way to get a wide back. Just do pull-ups 3 times a week. Do like at least 4 sets, 4 to 6 sets of pull-ups 3 times a week. And that should get you a wide back. That's what I've been doing for a long time. I've been doing it for a year. My back is crazy wide. Everybody always, the minute I switched to the full body routine and I started prioritizing pull-ups over bent over rows, I got so many questions on how do I get a wide back. And I think it's due to doing pull-ups 3 times a week. I do pull-ups and pull-downs. Do all types of like that. Do behind the neck. Do front pull-ups. Do pull-downs. Shit like that will get you a wide ass back. That is the easiest method. That's the easiest way I can put it. Cool. So let's move on to the next method, which is the Arnold method. All right, so this is what I call the Arnold method. Now, back when Arnold was in the military, I remember him saying that every day he would wake up to do his pull-ups, his chin-ups, his sit-ups, his dips, and push-ups and shit like that. So he did pull-ups every day. I mean, you can imagine what results you can get from that. So what they prioritized back then in the old school bodybuilding days is they just did a lot of pull-ups. That was like the staple. It wasn't the bent over row. It was the pull-up. It was the behind the neck chinning and the front pull downs and just the regular chinning. All right, so it was said that Arnold would warm up with 50 reps to 100 reps of pull-ups before every workout. So this is something I was doing back then. I think it was like a year ago. I was doing pull-ups every day before my workout. I would do at least maybe 40, 50 pull-ups before every workout. So yeah, 50 pull-ups before every workout. Just figure out how to get it done. In Arnold's bodybuilding book, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, he says you could be doing You could be doing 5 sets of 10 reps to get 50 pull-ups in, or you can do 10 sets of 5 reps. So this is the for sure method to get a wide back. Even Arnold says that you should be prioritizing your the width of your back over your thickness, because that's what really matters. The width of your back, not the thickness. Cool. So that was the Arnold method. Now let's move on to the Frank Zane method. All right, so this one is called the Frank Zane method. I'm pretty sure this is something I've talked about before, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it. And maybe if you ever seen Sadiq with Frank Zane, he was teaching him that after you do like a couple sets of the pull downs or the chin ups, you stretch your lats in between sets. Now this is something Arnold also does, because what this does is that it stretches the muscle, and when you stretch the muscle, you can actually enhance your muscle gain just like that. You can actually feel like your muscles actually growing if you just stretch it in between your sets. So yeah, after each set of maybe of your back workout, whatever you do, stretch your lats in between sets. Definitely give you a good pump, and it will make the muscle grow a lot faster. All right, so that was the Frank Zane method. Now let's move on to the last and final method. All right, so this is the last and final method. This one is called the Steve Reeves method. Now, Steve Reeves talked about how a lot of people back then, they didn't have that V taper shape. No one really had that V taper shape. He said one guy had it. I don't remember his name, but not a lot of people had that V taper shape. He also said not everybody back then had shape. That he said a lot of people looked blocky, and that's why he chose a lot of certain exercises like the incline press, the incline curl. He chose the incline curl because the barbell curl doesn't allow you get that full contraction. The range of motion is so much better with incline curl compared to the barbell curl, and this is true. And he also said that the bench press gave you too thick pecs, like it made you look too blocky. That is why he started to use the incline press. That gave him that square chest look. After he started doing that, a lot of people started asking him like, how did you get your chest to look like that? He started telling everybody, incline press, that's all I do. Cool. So anyways, the Steve Reeves method is behind the neck pull downs. He relied on 3 exercises for back. You know what, I don't remember the 3, but I know the 2 for sure. He liked the one arm row, and he liked the behind the neck pull downs. So like I was saying earlier, this was a classic staple in everybody's workout. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbu, Leroy Colbert, Jim Haslop, Steve Reeves. Telling you, everybody did it back then. It was like the pull up of the, what is it, the 30s or the 50s or whatever. So yeah, give that a go. Try out the behind the neck pull downs, or the behind the neck chins, because it was a classic staple they did back in. And maybe if it, well, since it worked for them, it'll most likely work for you too. But if it doesn't, go ahead and just start doing just, chin ups. Like I said earlier, chin ups are the staple to gain that wide back. Trust me. All right, so let's do a quick recap. You have to learn to prioritize width over thickness of your back. Do more chin ups instead of bent over rows. And then once you start doing that, you'll start to figure out what I mean, and that I was right, that you should be prioritizing chin ups over bent over rows. Okay, then we also talked about the Arnold method, that you can do 50 reps before your workout, or just getting 50 reps of pull ups 3 times a week. The Zane method is basically, doing your set of pull downs or pull ups or whatever, and then just stretching your lats in between each set of your back work. Stretch them long and hard, maybe 6 to 10 seconds of stretching in between sets, just like the the Arnold picture that I left up over there. And the last method was the Steve Reeves method, which is the staple of bodybuilding back then. It was behind the neck chins or behind the neck pull downs. That was a favorite workout of Steve Reeves. Cool. That was it. If you like this video, please like it right now. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. This is Old School Dan checking out. Peace.